Today we're going to talk about the Weldtech 140A Arc Welder. This little machine is ideal for running a 2.5 electrode or a 3.2 electrode. It is very simple to use as long as you remember how the setup works. We have the knob on the front which adjusts the amperage. The higher the amperage, the thicker the plate that we can weld with and the bigger the rod. If we have it set down around 90 amps, we can run a 2.5. If we have it up around about 125 or 130 amps, depending on the electrode, we can run a 3.2 millimeter rod off this one. The 141 has the biggest advantage of having a 10 amp plug. So you can take it home and plug it into the normal power supply and start welding. Now, because the 141 Weldtech Arc Welder is a DC welder, we have these little symbols on the bottom here, one called positive and one called negative. Now that's very, very important because when we have an electrode like this, we need to know which way round it goes. It's very important for the running of the electrode that we put it into the right place, either the negative or the positive. And we don't have to guess about that. If we go to the packet of electrodes, if we have a look at the packet of electrodes, it will say on there a little symbol saying DC. In this case it says positive at the top, so we put it into the positive side. So we grab our electrode handpiece, we put it into our little socket here, make sure it's locked in nice and tight. We get our electrode and we hold the top of the electrode holder and we just unwind it. We then put our electrode in, which is a 3.2, into the jaws there, still not open, and then we tighten it up. Make sure it's really tight because it's got to get a good contact, and then we're ready to set the electrode up. Now the earth will always go on the opposite side, so we can put the earth in here. Make sure again it's locked in really tight, and make sure you get a good contact on whatever you're welding, because if you don't have a good welding contact with the earth, you will not get a good circuit, you will not get a good start, and the electrode will not run correctly. So it's a very simple machine to use. So I've got a 3.2, I've checked the packet, and we're going to set it at 125 amps, and now the welder is ready to go. Now we're outside, I'm going to run the little Weldtech 141 Arc Welder. I've made sure that I've got the polarity in the right way around, which means my electrode is in the positive side. I've made sure I've got a good earth, and now I'm ready to weld. I'm using a 2.5 electrode. So as you can see on the little LED screen here, it is set at about 96. So that's what I think is a good amperage to run this little 2.5 electrode. Right, now we're ready to set up and weld. Before I turn the welder on, I'll show you the technique that I'm going to use. When you come down, you just give a light little brush on the electrode, and when it starts, you just keep feeding the electrode in, and you're going in this direction.